Energy. All right.
These are spirit
figures.
It's a trill cook-up.
I'm Bria.
And I'm Archie.
And this is for all the girls. I think y'all should be like with that jingle by now. So like when we come on, hey, like, because I know when I watch certain podcasts and they got something going over and over again, I always say it with them.
And this is
for all the girls. I definitely say it with them.
Y'all all right? How y'all doing?
I'm good.
Okay.
I'm good.
I'm good today, girl.
Good.
I'm great.
So I told Archie that
why can't be great?
I feel like a K-pop star with these things right here.
Oh, she's
K-pop. What's the show?
Cool. K-pop Demon Hunters.
K-pop Demon Hunters.
My baby loves that show. Ones that you know
Archie loves that show. Okay,
right? Look, the songs are so like catchy. They just stay in your head.
Okay, K-pop Demon Hunters. So how are y'all?
I'm good.
Welcome to the Good Life. That's your boy, ain't it?
Okay, look.
Oh,
that's my boy. That's gonna forever be my boy.
Yeah. Okay,
and I
but
stand behind the things that he be doing sometimes. I say it sometimes.
Okay, can you separate the music from the human?
That's the thing. I feel like in certain people, because we get into this R. Kelly shit all the time too. And
you can never take his music away from me.
But that's the thing. For me, I don't too much give a fuck about R. Kelly. Like, okay, it's R. Kelly. He been a creep literally our entire life.
It's been in our face, but we just never paid attention.
Like, as a Chicagoan, we've been knew R. Kelly was a creep.
We did, but we still love you. We still stand beside the music. But I don't condone what you was doing.
But at the same token, I feel like now when people ask me about Kanye, I'm just like, I don't know. Like, y'all want me to like erase that man's music out my memory, and
I can't
do it.
Listen, Dre is a huge Kanye West fan. He don't care what nobody say. He always say, y'all can't make me hate that man.
Like what?
Not his music, at least.
Like, okay, and I understand, and it's kind of it's different because we all know he has mental health issues.
Yeah.
We all know he has mental health issues. He go off his meds and he do this weird shit. Yep. We know that. So it's kind of like I have a little grace for him in that respect. You off your meds and you don't have people around you that can say,
bring you
back, right? But at the same token, it's like, I'm not going to excuse the things that you be saying.
Yeah.
And the things you be doing. I just need you to shut up.
Yeah. Because Kanye, if you know Mama West was here.
I was about to say, I feel like the other piece of this is we also saw like the rise and break of Kanye.
Yeah.
Like when his mama, that broke that man. You
Yeah.
feel me?
Broke
so I
down,
feel like that was I think like we're all one traumatic incident away from mental
your brain
breakdown.
being broke.
Because his mom was like his biggest fan. Like when you watch the documentary that he put out, his mom was his biggest fan. I mean, like, go Kanye. Like, she ain't stopped none of his creative ability. Like, none of it. Like,
we are one traumatic experience away from our brain being broke. So I'm just, and granted, people can say the same thing about R. Kelly, about he grew up in an abused household and blah, blah, blah. And a lot of times people who are abused sometimes do the abuse
people,
So I understand it. It's easier for me to separate R. Kelly. It's not as easy for me to separate with Kanye.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, but Kanye, if you want to come on for all the girls, we'll more than happy have you. Right? Would y'all? I would definitely have Kanye on here.
You come on.
Look at Archie face.
I would love to have Kanye, but I would need to be like, you cool, bro.
Is you cool? Is you cool? Don't you get on here saying
embarrassing us?
We gotta cut the show because you speaking
cut,
nonsense. Okay, don't come here showing your ass.
But we would love to have you here, Kanye, if this do come across your For You page. Okay. All right, so let's get into the topics for today. So it's continuing the theme of relationships. And now we're talking about work relationships.
Where.
Child, I can't wait till this become our full-time work. I would not mind talking about this all day, but if we're talking about the actual workplace.
Actual work.
So the first question I have is, what's something you learned about yourself from your coworkers?
They not like us. That's what I've learned from my coworkers.
I feel like everybody can't take honesty.
I don't even think it's that. I feel like, well, yes, that, and I feel like
Honesty and accountability.
Honesty
Both.
and accountability, and it's like some people are not. They literally just not like us. Like,
Yeah.
some people are not. They don't have the person. Their personality is not like yours.
Yeah.
Like, and that's the good and the bad part about the workplace. You get some people who are like, we click, we work, we flow, and other people who are like, our personalities couldn't be more different.
Right.
Our values couldn't be more different.
Right.
But I still have to find a way to work with this person.
Yeah.
I don't know. This is a tough one, man. Because one, my work situation now, I'm an entrepreneur, so I'm my coworker.
I'm my own coworker.
But in previous jobs, I don't know. I feel like my last job, for the most part, like we were all like a family. So like, I think there's spaces when things are aligned on the flip side where like your family supports you and lets you shine in the areas that's your lane. So I think that's something I learned.
That's a great work environment.
Listen, my last job with my previous boss, shout out to Tiambi if you ever watch this, was amazing. And it's so funny. I was just thinking about like that admin team. Like we had 2 different admin teams that were just like really great. Everybody kind of worked well together. Everybody shined in their own avenues and areas. The coolest boss I've ever had in life. Like just all around like excellent. So I had really good work experiences. When she left and administration started changing, that's when everything kind of went downhill.
Gotcha.
But when things were good in that sweet spot, it's like your coworkers can be like family and they can allow you to shine and cheer you on and do the thing. So that's what I guess I learned about myself.
Okay. All right. You want to ask a question? Or want me to keep
Sure.
going?
Oh, this is a good one. Because I have a different perspective, maybe,
And
than y'all.
okay.
But do you believe in mixing business with friendships? Why and why not?
I think it depends. I think it depends on the situation and the person. Like this goes back to discernment. If I can feel like I can trust you on that level, then I think it's okay. But I think also you have to understand we're not going to do that off gate. It's going to take me some time to really get like, all right, we might you might can be my girl for real, and I think it depends. Like, I think you can read a room and tell like who there and who not there with you.
So I guess in clarifying this question, in my thinking, when we say business and friendships, are we speaking of like being friends with coworkers, or are we speaking of like me and my friend are going into business and we're friends? And I think those can be 2 different things.
I think it's 2 different things.
Okay, so let's just tackle both.
So I think going into business with a friend, I think that can be a tough space to navigate because you guys have to really be in sync.
Yeah.
Because when I hold you accountable, like I don't want you to take it personally.
Right.
Like you got to understand at the end of the day, it's a business. Like we're in business, and I think that's for both entrepreneurship and then if we also work together and friends outside of here. Like if we give you that information, don't take it personally. Like once we leave out of this situation, you still might, we still here.
Right.
But it's just, I think y'all have to be in sync together in order to make that work.
I guess a side-off question, though. But is there a situation where you feel like you did something at work that kind of carried over into the friendship?
I think that can
What
happen.
you mean?
Like, is there a situation you can think of where it's like, okay, like Karen said, business is business. We leave it here.
Oh, yeah,
and we
yeah.
friends outside of this. Can you think of a situation where it's like,
Yeah.
nah, bitch, you tried me at work.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that can happen. And I think, like, that's when the situation could come in. It's just like, all right, how do we navigate from this? Because I don't want to come around now. It's awkward. You know what I'm saying? So
I have had that situation happen, actually. And it was so petty. Like, the vibes were different between me and this coworker that became friends. And we, like, stopped talking for months. And then eventually we, like, started talking again and we were cool. So, yes, I have had that experience. I don't think at the time I was mature enough to have the proper conversations because I was so deep in my feelings. But I think, yeah, it's possible.
yeah,
To
it's
be in that
100%
space.
possible. Yeah, and then you got to understand who else you bring into the situation.
Right.
I feel like it depends on like the level of friendship and whether y'all can have that. Whether I'm able to hold my friend accountable if that's happened outside of our workplace. I feel like it's easier for us to do it at work versus like, this is my friend. We've my friend.
Mm-hmm.
We going into work together. We go into business, and now I'm speaking a different language, or
Yeah.
I'm holding you accountable for certain things in a way that I'm not doing in our friendship already. It can feel very much like, girl, you trying to attack me, and I don't know why.
Yeah.
So I feel like in some instances, I feel like in theory,
Mm-hmm.
I feel like you can, but in practice, I feel like it's a lot harder, especially when like certain topics are like triggers or like hot topics. Like, girl, if you go to my boss and try to get me fired, fuck no, we're not friends no more.
Right.
You get what I'm saying? Like,
I
no,
feel you
we're
on
not
that
friends
one.
anymore.
But I feel like if we're going into business together or we're working together, I think it's a level of respect that we should have for each other too. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's certain boundaries that I know that I feel like we shouldn't cross. But I think that's the connection that you got to have with that person of like, all right, we know these are our boundaries with this situation. Like, if we working together, I'm not going to be like, Bria, I'm about to go tell the boss on you and you about to get fired. You know, like, we know, like, well, let me tell you what you're doing wrong first before, any of that happens. I think that's the connection you got to have with if they're genuinely your friend.
I think, too, we don't often talk about, like, the willful blindness piece of it. And, like, this my friend, and they might not even be suitable in business or work. And how do I hold you accountable in that space to do so? Or am I covering for you because you're my friend? Right? So it's kind of like, it gets really tricky in a toss-up. I think my stance on like friendship in the workplace and all these things, I think one question to sit with is, did we become friends at work?
Yeah,
Or
were
we friends who, and now we work in the same
And I
space?
also think that's different too.
Right.
Like, if we became friends at work, like, I think that's a easier way to cut something off.
So can I ask you this? I don't know how much I can say or not say, but you're in this situation.
I am.
Right. So how does that work?
Very candidly, like, you're my friend at the end of the day. I understand, like, you have a whole family. You know what I'm saying? So I'm going to do whatever it takes to protect you. But at the end of the day, like, we do have to accept accountability when we do things wrong.
Does that create a level of bias in the way that you lead with other members on the team?
Very honestly, I think they can see it, which is like, but what I try to do now is that, because they know I know him. They know we worked together previously. They know I do a podcast with you. And it's crazy because before even thinking that he was going to be on, I'm like, watch my podcast. And he was on an episode of the podcast. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like, all right, they like, okay, I can say like we work together. But then when you see stuff like that, it's just like, oh, no, y'all more than just, you know what I'm saying? Y'all more than just work together. Like, y'all know each other. And then it's just like, that's why I had to make my Instagram private. Because my Instagram wasn't private. So it's like, I noticed like people will go to my Instagram because I can see. Like, if you look at my story, I'm going to be like, who is this?
Right.
And it was people like my associates. And when we went to Tulum, I got him all on there, happy birthday!
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So it's just like, and I think like people start catching on to that. But it's just like, what I can say is I'm fair across the board.
Right.
Like, but the thing is like, I will let him know like, hey, this is what is about to come up. Not saying the situation is going to be any better because I told you, but just prepare yourself. Like, these are the conversations that's being happened, right? So you'll understand like, all right, this is how I need to navigate going forward.
I think that would be so hard. Like, if one of y'all was my boss or if I was one of y'all bosses. Like,
Yeah.
Because, I mean, at the end of the day, like, I think, of course, like, I will show up and do what I need to do. But I also think sometimes, like, when you know you have that certain level of, like, relationship, you might not show up like, oh, like, that's my best friend. Like, I can come in late. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, the
I
little
feel
things.
like for me, but I feel like for me, it'll be the opposite. Like,
Right,
for me, 'cause
either
I'm
or.
like, I really
I don't wanna
wanna
make her look
embarrass
bad.
My friend. I don't want to make my friend look bad.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like for me, it would be the opposite. Right.
Right.
Where it's like, girl, there's too much pressure.
Yeah.
Right.
But I'm gonna be completely candid. Like, some things, I don't know if he come home and tell you what happens, things that happen at work. I don't know. But it's just like some things I'm just be like, okay, we had this conversation. Yeah, it could have been a hard conversation, but like, how do I navigate now that I come to you? Like, and you're looking at me a certain type of way, like, like, you said this to my husband. And I'm just like, you know what I'm saying?
Lot of pieces,
So it just
bro.
be like, and I really do be thinking about that, like, because we did have a situation, and could just break down the whole situation. So we had a situation, and I can be honest, I didn't bring it to him. Like, I brought it to him. And he was just like, he addressed it for me. And I'm like, you can't do that. Like, you can't do that in this.
Scared me. I'm sorry. I'm like, what?
But he always scares you.
Yeah, but I'm like, you can't do that in this situation because, like, you have to think about it. I can come home and, like, talk about my coworkers that you don't know.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And you will handle it a different type of way. But due to the fact that we know this, you can't go approach them about the things that I'm telling you. You know, like, that doesn't work. Because at the end of the day, we have to leave business. Like, if it was anybody else, I'll come home and tell you how I feel about a situation. And you're not going to write them on Facebook like, hey.
Right.
This
keep your hands off my wife.
You know what I'm saying? But that was a situation that happened. And then when it happened, like when I came around, like I felt awkward around you because I'm just like, how's she feeling about that situation? You know what I'm saying?
Well, I don't think we get into the nitty gritty of like stuff like that. Like,
okay.
We don't. We if he's tell me I had a hard day at work. Okay, if you like talk about it, sure, but it's not like we don't go that granular.
Yeah.
To that point. So for me, and I feel like not even purposefully because I do feel like for me I'm able to be like, okay, this is something that happened at work.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I'm able to do that, but I don't want anybody to feel uncomfortable.
Yeah.
So like that's the underlying
principle of it. Yeah.
Principle of it.
I think a couple episodes back we talked about like maybe like friendship, relationship, something. But I think this all goes back to boundaries. Like we have to have especially in that situation, like we have to have a certain level of boundaries in both capacities for it to run a little smoother.
Yeah. And I realized that from that one situation, I was just like, all right, I know what I can say and what I can't say. Because at the end of the day, he is my husband and he's going to try to protect me as a husband. And I'm just like, all right, I understand, like, you crossed the line there. Like, you can't do stuff like that. Like, let me handle that the way I want to handle it. Don't try to take it because that's your friend too, and you can kind of come at him as like a homeboy. Like, no, like you can't do that. Like, I get that's your friend, I get that's your homeboy, and I get that y'all can have those type of conversations, but let me have that conversation first before you try to like be Superman.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
That's fair.
I'm sorry, baby. It was a situation, but I can't be mad at him. Like, he did what he felt like he wanted.
Right.
Yeah. But I'm just like, at the end of the day, we have to leave business and personal. Like, it's still gonna be my dog regardless if we're working together or we're not. But again, I just don't ever want it to be awkward with me and you because again, I have to do my job. Like, I have bills I gotta take care of, and
I mean, and
I can only help to a certain
honestly,
extent.
I kind of don't know exactly what y'all do, so that also helps. I mean, just to be frank, I don't know exactly what it is y'all be doing. Yeah. So that kind of helps because I'm like, I don't know.
I don't get it.
Yeah, one thing from the other, I don't know if this is important. I don't know if it's not important.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. So, but I just think that's the biggest thing is like, I don't ever want a work relationship to affect a personal relationship. Because at the end of the day, business is business. And I'm going to do what I have to do to make sure, like, my life is secured. You know what I'm saying? But I will always, like, have your back at the end of the day. But I have to be fair. I have to be fair. That's the main thing. Like I said, when I started noticing him looking at my Instagram, I'm like, block. I had to go. I was like, damn, Karen.
I mean, and I get it's more just like perception.
Yeah.
Like, even if it is like I'm being fair, but the
perception, yeah.
That the perception is reality at times.
Yeah. And especially I led with like, oh, we just work together.
Oh, yeah.
And then
lie.
You like a lie.
That's your homeboy.
That's exactly. And I'm just like, well, shit, it is what it is now. You know now. Like,
right.
And then we get to the point now where I be like, Corey, how Lennox? And I be like, damn. Like, they be like, oh, you really know him. Like, we'll talk about Lennox at work.
Yeah.
And then, like, for instance, like Friday, I was like, yeah, we going to Capitol Grill. And he was like, oh, dang, I did forget. And we was around our other coworkers, and they looking like, why are you upset? And I'm like, literally, you know, I'm going with his wife. Like, but yeah.
You got one, Archie Little?
I do. What is the difference between a boss and a leader in your experience?
Well, this is kind of like my whole PhD right here in this question. I feel like a boss can be a leader.
I agree.
And I feel like boss feels a little more rigid or can feel a little more rigid, a little bit more managerial, a little bit more like, these are the tasks, these are the goals, this is how I want you to get it done. I think sometimes a boss can lack that warmth and interpersonal relationships, whereas a leader, they're with vision. They're ones who can captivate people enough to follow them. So
Right.
there's a concept called followership, and it's pretty much the art of like people following
you.
leaders. So they just possess a lot of characteristics that are essential to mobilize and create like vision to action through the people that they are leading, and can be with themselves as well.
So talk to me a little bit about that, about building this followership. What are some qualities of some people who are more so building a following and not so much being a boss?
So I think when we talk about followership a little more, it's about like this also like interconnectedness of like, as a follower, I also possess leadership qualities, right? And so as a leader, like I recognize that and I kind of tend to it. I think it's just like accountability, you know, intention, your people skills, your ability to connect in a way that allows for that person to thrive in what area that is, right? So there are different models of followership that kind of identifies different type of workers. And so leaders can know that. So for example, I'm trying to think of something off the top of my head. Jesus.
It's a quiz that you can take.
Yeah, it's a quiz you can take.
Like at my job, they had us take a personality test for the first time. And I'm like, what are y'all planning on doing with this information? Like,
Because if I know what personality, then I know there's certain traits, and then as a leader, I can adjust and be
put you
able
in
to
those right situations.
put you in the right situation, or be in a space where I can utilize either your talents or connect with you in a way to mobilize you, right? So say for instance, if you are, and I'm drawing a whole blank right now, but say if you are why is it? It's like blank. Say if you're like a servant leader and your ways of engaging with people are through service and through community work or whatever, you can come in as a leader to like hone in on that skill, right? Or maybe put you in positions where you can do that. Or if I know that you're particularly great in this area and you need some work in this area, how do I strengthen you by coming at you from what you're good at and then leveraging those skills to also help you build in areas that you're not. So I love my followership class. I'm so mad that I'm blanking. It's because I'm on the spot. But yeah.
No, this sounds very like my thoughts about being a boss and a leader. Like I was always taught, if you are a leader, you not lead from the front, lead from the back. Okay, like you're the person that's supposed to be doing by example, like not just telling people what to do.
That's my main thing. Yeah.
Yes, modeling is important.
Modeling is important, and if it's kind of hard for you to tell people what to do about some shit that you also not doing.
Or you don't even know how to do.
Or you don't even know how to
that
do.
That pisses me off.
You don't even know how to do. That's that. And also,
you
like,
should do. How you know?
I don't want to be in the type of leader that I aspire to be. I don't want to be the leader that sits above everybody and looks below. You know what I'm saying? Like, I want to be...
I can strap my boots up and do what you do.
Right. I'm in the mix with y'all. We all doing the same type of things. And people want to follow you because they feel like you have the experience, or you have the knowledge, or you have the tools, or she knows what I'm going through. She's not like a person that sits at the top and just expects you to figure it out at the bottom.
So here, I had to look it up because I know it, but again, I'm blanking. So the type of leadership that you're talking about can be transformational leadership or democratic leadership, servant leadership, participative leadership, all in these spaces of like leading from behind or servicing, right? And so, but there are different.
I was a servant leader.
There are also other leaders who are more transactional. Like you are doing a service, this service is paying you, you do this, I give you that, right? Or bureaucratic. So that very top down approach.
Yeah.
So it doesn't not make it still leadership. It's just a different type of leadership. But I think at the end of it all, it's like you are moving and you have these group of people that are following, right at the basis.
I mean, not to say that bureaucratic leadership don't work, but like let's say on a certain type of people, it doesn't work.
Correct. Or in certain type of businesses or organizations.
Right.
And so I think too, in being a leader, we have to be cognizant of those things, because just because I'm a servant leader doesn't mean that works in every style.
Right.
So am I good enough to be flexible and interchangeable and understanding what is needed in different situations or organizations?
Yeah. But when I took my quiz, I was a servant leader.
Yeah.
And I think that's what my associates like about me, because I always tell them, like, I can do what you do, and I might could do it a little bit better. I tell them that all the time, because they'll just be like, well, Karen, you don't, and I'm like, I can show you better than I can.
Yeah.
Like, I can lead you, but I promise you I can do what you can do. So you can't come to me. That's one of the things, too. You can't come to me and try to play my face because I know your job. So I think, but yeah, they had us all take a quiz, like all of like the GMs of like in our little area. And that was what I came out as a quiz. It's like a servant leader.
Yeah.
But I think that's a curse and an advantage. Because like sometimes I don't know how to separate on how to like
be a leader and
exactly
not be a follower.
And there's things now, at least like in my job, I see them like, all right, if you're trying to like be promoted or move up, there are certain tasks that you can't take on.
Yeah.
So like you can't necessarily, if you're trying to be the CEO of a company, you're probably not going to know what the least paid person in your company does, because it's going to be very hard for you to do that. You know, there are certain skills that you are going to have to need to do more. You know what I'm saying? Certain skills you have to leave behind. So I feel like servant leadership is just a small part of it, but when you start to get in other spaces, maybe it is a more bureaucratic style that you get into.
Right. And that's something that I have to learn how to navigate, because I'm really bad at that.
But at the same token, I feel like, and this is the part that I get into, I don't feel like some of these leadership styles mesh well with my personality.
Correct. Right. So as a leader, I have to recognize that, and how do I engage you as a follower?
Right.
Because I might be, and it's still escaping me. I can see it in my head, but I might be, I think it's one that's more like an isolated type. I cannot think of the term, but like I'm more isolated. I'm kind of the negative Nancy of the group, right? How do I like address you in a way that, okay, well, what really are your concerns? How can I X, Y, and Z? How do I like engage with you in that interpersonal way to shift and also meet your needs, right? And so I think that is the beauty of a leader, to be well-rounded enough and also have those interpersonal skills. I think that's a big newer development in leadership over the past, couple of decades.
Yeah. They want the people, and at least in the industry I'm in, they'll tell you they want the lawyers who can walk and chew gum at the same time. They don't want, you get a lot of smart people, a lot of smart lawyers who cannot talk to people.
Can't talk to people.
They cannot talk to people.
Can't build relationships.
They can't build relationships with clients. They can't build relationships with opposing counsel. I feel like in general, at least my profession, we attract a lot of the same kind of people, or a certain kind of person. A lot of them, I feel like it varies, but it's all the same when we break it down. But like there might be people with money who I've never had to learn how to ask somebody for anything, because I've just had things. Or I've never had to learn how to compromise with somebody. I've never had to learn how, I'm used to getting my way. I've never learned how to fail at something or not be good, not be naturally good. I've never learned how to speak to someone who does not have who don't speak the same language as me. Like, for example, when I first started being an attorney, I worked in family law. So these are like regular mom and pop people who have never dealt with the court system before, people who have never filed a lawsuit or been in a lawsuit. They don't know what the fuck's going on. So I can't come at you and speak to you in all this legalese and all these big Latin words. You're not going to understand what I'm saying. So like sometimes you have to break it down to where these people understand, one, what you're saying, but two, also how it affects you. So like I'm saying this shit now, but I'm telling you this shit right now to be doing may seem small. But 6 months down the road, you're going to be like, why you didn't tell me that 6 months ago? And I'm like, I did. But if you don't stress the importance of this is what's going to happen, it's kind of, you get a lot of people who can't do that, especially in these super technical fields. These people are patent lawyers who they deal with science and, they build things and all that stuff. Or just even in my case, I work with doctors, so I speak a lot of medical terminology and stuff like that. If you're not able to break that shit down, especially to a jury of your peers or people who might not know what the fuck you're talking about, you lost. You lost. You missed the point.
You lost.
Okay. Yeah.
Well, that was a good conversation.
Dang,
I didn't think it was going to be that long. I mean, I thought it was going to be
fast.
Yeah, it did.
It's time for a break, though.
It is time for a break.
It is.
Are we going on a break?
Yes.
No, I think that's it.
Oh, wait. Was that 30?
Yeah.
That was 30.
Damn, what am I
We gonna wrap this one up.
Bye, y'all. That was great.
Bye. Now, just remember, be a good leader at your job.
Yes.
Okay?
Be a good leader in
to
life.
yourself. Be a good leader in life.
Yes. And you don't always have to lead from the front.
That's why I don't park in the front at work. I park all the way where the associates
see
park
you
so I
walking
can
and
walk.
See? Yeah. That's a special skill, man.
See y'all later.
Adios.
Bye.
Bye.